what's up guys, Yusuf Shah from TechDroids and welcome back to a brand new video on the channel. And I know I'm very late to the party with this one. This is going to be my GTX 1650 Super review. And yeah, NVIDIA launched this as a successor to the GTX 1650, which was not a popular card because it was not good enough for its time. Like when it came out, it was kind of inferior compared to the older cards like RX 570, and also some older cards from NVIDIA itself were able to beat the GTX 1650. It was like, it didn't require extra power, so you can just, upgrade like an old PC or something like that. Now, this video is not about the GTX 1650, it's about the 1650 Super, and this unit to us is provided by Ankit Infotech, so huge shout out to Ankit. And yeah, you can check out his shop in SP Road. I'll leave all the details down below and you should be able to get this for a really decent price. So, about 12,000 rupees plus GST, and that should be good enough. So if you live in India, if you live in Bangalore, go to SP Road and check out Ankit Infotech, and you should be able to not only get this card but also a full build if you wanted to. Now, this is the GTX 1650 Super from Gigabyte, the Windforce OC edition. It's got some extra, quirks and stuff like that. So here's the card itself. So it has two 90mm fans on the front, and they're going to be in the Windforce configuration. So one of them has an alternate spin for, just better cooling. You have this sick looking backplate as well, and I appreciate backplates for, such a low price. And it's completely made out of plastic, but then it's really good quality plastic. You have three outputs, so you have your HDMI, you have your DVI, and also your DisplayPort. And this got 4 gigabytes of GDDR5 memory, so it's based on the Turing architecture. Alright, talking about the specs of the GTX 1650 Super, it is based on the Turing architecture with 4 gigabytes of GDDR5 memory. And talking about, overclocking and megahertz specs, you've got a 755 megahertz overclock. So on the base variant, like the factory, you're going to get like 1725. So this does have a decent overclock on it, and the base clock on this one is going to be 1530 megahertz. It does require external power, so a 6-pin PCIe connector, and that's going to draw at least 100 watts. So the total power draw of this card is going to be 100 watts, and you've got a 192 Gbps memory bandwidth. And everything, in my opinion, looks good. You've got all the extra features like NVIDIA Ansel, Shadow Play, highlights, and yeah, the GeForce experience is going to be supported, and you've got game ready drivers available for this one. And yeah, now what's left is just to put this graphic card in this PC and benchmark it, show you guys some gameplay, and show you guys how games perform on this. And towards the end of the video, we'll take a look at my final verdict, if you should get the 1650 Super or not. Alright, now talking about the PC that we're going to be using to benchmark this one, it's got a Ryzen 5 1500X. Now I know it's going to be a first generation, older CPU, but that's what is going to test this card. Like how good is it going to be with older hardware? Anything can perform, nicely with third generation Ryzen or Core i5s and stuff like that. How does it perform when you put it up with a quad core from, 2 years back? And you've got 16 gigabytes of G-Skill memory at 2666 megahertz, and also we've got the NZXT Kraken M22. Huge thanks to NZXT for providing the Kraken M22 for this video. It's a 120mm liquid cooler, and yeah, it's an AIO, so you don't have to do any sort of custom looping or anything like that. It is AIO. It's already built in for you. Just put it in the PC. It's very easy to install, and I'll be making like a dedicated video on this one, unboxing, review, and stuff like that. And it is compatible with NZXT CAM, so you can change the lighting, monitor the fan speed, and do all sorts of crazy things. And yeah, the board is going to be a Gigabyte AB350M HD3 motherboard, so it's got all the basic features like crossfire and overclocking support and stuff like that. We have not overclocked, the Ryzen is on its base clock, and yeah, as I said, 16 gigabytes of RAM, a 550 watt Corsair power supply, and that's about it. It's in this Cooler Master MB500 case, and I think 550 watts is going to be good enough for this one. So now let's put it in and check out the gameplay and benchmarks. Jumping into a game like Grand Theft Auto 5, which is quite old, but then it's still taxing nonetheless. And we are doing DirectX 11, 1080p Full HD, and taking a look at the settings, I think high preset is going to be a good starting point with anti-aliasing, and we're going to keep all the ambient inclusion and stuff off. And here we are getting a decent FPS of upwards of 100 sometimes. And yeah, it's hovering between like 80, 90, and then goes up to 100 sometimes. Still really playable, still a nice experience. Like if you're playing GTA, definitely you have like a 60 to 90 hertz monitor. That guy just decided to ram me, and no man. And yeah, even with like gunfires and a lot of action on the screen, we don't see a huge dip, like still keeping up that upwards of 90 FPS, so that's nice. And right now, like, there's a lot of action. Now the cops are here. Nice. So yep, decent FPS in my opinion for 1080p. And also the CPU matters as well. So let's say you're playing this on a newer CPU, maybe Ryzen 2nd generation, Ryzen 3rd generation, or Intel Core i5 9500F, 9400F, anything like that, and I think you should be getting decent FPS. So that's GTA 5 for you guys. Alright, now getting into a game like Rocket League that's really fun to play and people like to stream it a lot as well, and it's not really hard to run. So 1080p, all maxed out. We have removed the FPS cap. We are in a 1v1, so I quite like this game and it's really fun to play and really decent FPS in my opinion. Like, let's say you want to do like high refresh rate gaming. Again, want to hook this up to 144 Hz monitor, you should be able to get it. And again guys, I want to make a note that we are using like a first generation Ryzen. So let's say you use the 1650 Super as an upgrade card for that, and I have not done any overclocking, so you can maybe use, if you're using like a newer processor from Intel or AMD, that'll help in getting more FPS. If you overclock your second generation or first generation Ryzen CPU, that also helps. And definitely guys, with a cooler like the NZX T1 or a decent cooler, you should be able to get a good overclock on the Ryzen CPUs or even Intel for that matter, and that'll definitely give you extra performance. So that is Rocket League. Let me just get this goal. And alright, now jumping into a game like Destiny 2, which is kind of heavy. Now we have it at again 1080p and we're not using VSync. Gonna get all the frame rates. We have high, so we have set the custom preset to high, and yeah, there's 4x anti-aliasing and everything. So let's just jump in and check out what kind of FPS we're getting. Yep, we do go below 100, but the game looks good and it's quite playable in my opinion. And Destiny is a quite fun game to play, Destiny 2, and it's large. You have to download it, but once you do, it is quite fun. Like, looks nice. One of the good looking first person shooters I think on Steam. And like, look at the detail in this game, it's just next level. All right, just and like right now in a combat scene, it's still quite good, and the GPU acoustics are still fine. They're not making a lot of noise. Ooh, that was a jump scare moment. And I'm an absolute noob at Destiny yet, so that's that. Alright, now jumping into a game that's not very taxing on hardware, PUBG Lite, but we're playing it on the max graphics. So 1080p, no VSync, ultra everything, max out everything, and yeah, let's check it out. And with Afterburner, you can see the current like temperatures and clock speeds and stuff like that, and I can still touch it, and it's kind of getting warm now as we're doing the benchmarks and stuff. But yeah, PUBG Lite at ultra settings does look really nice, quite close to the PC version, and you can see we can constantly keep up upwards of 100 FPS, and that's evident here when there is a lot of detail. And when we jump as well. So this is the point where most computers drop FPS, and this doesn't. So yeah, definitely able to keep up with PUBG Lite. And yeah, if you're like a PUBG fan or anything, this is definitely going to be a graphic card you should consider. Like, if you want to get into PC gaming, if you want to move up from your mobile gaming, 1650 Super, quite an entry level, good starting point. And we see that like everything gets loaded up, and pretty much very smooth, very playable.
Alright, now again, coming back to a game that's more CPU intensive and less GPU intensive, Counter-Strike Global Offensive with the Christmas update. Going into the video settings, again, obvious 1080p, all maxed out, all anti-aliasing, everything is enabled, and yeah, everything is high or very high. And let's jump into a game, and as we can find the match here, let's talk about shadow play for a second and the whole GeForce experience thing. So Windows G from anywhere will get you shadow play, and let's say you're in Counter-Strike, you get Windows G, and you have all your options to get screenshots as well as shadow play. You can set up shadow play in a way like it's always recording some time off your screen. And there's NVIDIA highlights, NVIDIA Ansel that lets you take high quality screen grabs. And yeah, just get GeForce experience, start using it, and definitely worth it. So now that we're going to be loading up into a game,
let's get in. And as we jump in, we can see that we're keeping a consistent 200 plus FPS, like quite nice for a game like Counter-Strike, which requires high FPS for a good experience. All right, and even like in a battle, like you just saw, we are able to like keep up decent FPS. And yep, I wouldn't really complain if I was given this PC to play Counter-Strike. Like, this is quite nice. And just taking a moment to talk about the NVENC encoder with the NVIDIA cards, that helps a lot in live streaming applications like the OBS Studio, or if you're using XSplit, you can use Adobe Premiere and just video editing, photo editing. All of those tasks are also like accelerated. So definitely a good card for overall getting started with PC gaming, content creation. 1650 Super, in my opinion, is like really good entry level. I just knifed him. Entry level graphics card if you're planning to just get into PC gaming. Alright, now coming to the verdict, final conclusion. Should you get the GTX 1650 Super from Gigabyte or any other brand? And yes, if you have a budget of maybe 15,000 rupees for a graphics card, and your whole budget for your whole PC is going to be like, let's say 40 to 50,000 rupees or below that, definitely this is a good card to get. And you can also get stuff from AMD, but they're older cards, the 500 series, the 400 series. The RX 5500 is coming out, and that is going to be the direct competition for this. And we haven't tested it out. Maybe it'll be better, maybe it'll not. But for now, I think 1650 Super is a good option, and it's a really entry-level card. Not only for building a new PC, but also let's say you're upgrading something like a first generation Ryzen or a second generation Ryzen or a mid-tier Intel PC. It's gonna help there as well. So under 14,000 rupees, you're getting this, and there's other versions available, Gigabyte, Galax, Asus, all of them will be making this card. So you can pick whatever you like. I definitely recommend Gigabyte. And also guys, huge thanks to Ankit Infotech for providing this card. All the details are in the description down below, so you can get his number, his address and stuff like that, and you can get this card delivered to your home. And if you're living in Bangalore, you can just buy it from his shop that's located on SP Road. And also huge thanks to NZXT for providing the Kraken M22 for the testing, so the CPU stays cool and there's no bottleneck. And that's about it guys. I hope you enjoyed this different kind of a video, this new kind of a lifestyle video. And I know it was long, and I'll try my best to edit out the parts that are not necessary, but huge thanks to you guys for watching till the end. Go ahead and subscribe to the channel, and also like this video if it was helpful, and hit the notification bell so you don't miss out on future uploads. Check out all the links down below in the description so you get to the NZXT cooler, not only the Gigabyte card but also Ankit Infotech. And let me know in the comments down below, what do you think about the video? What do you think about the GTX 1650 Super? Are you going to get it? Is this something you're interested in? And I'll talk to you guys in the next one.